This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 574.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silvey, host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for listening. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one event next week. It's a virtual event. It's called Voces, inspiran. It's Women's Day 2025, and that translates into Voices that Inspire. It is virtual, so anybody could go, but I believe it's in Spanish as the primary language, if I'm not mistaken, based on the website. So check that out. Link in the show notes. Moving on to segment one in the news. One thing to talk about here, the plugin Jupyter X Core had a critical flaw that was identified. Apparently, it compromised 90,000 WordPress sites, and that plugin lets the vulnerability allowed attackers to upload malicious SVG files, leading to the potential remote code execution on comprised servers. So if you use that plugin, go ahead and you want to update that because, that's you want to mitigate that risk, of course. So is that it in the news? Yeah, that's it in the news. Moving on, segment 2, meat potatoes. But before that, a word from this week's sponsor. This episode of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Rapid Cloud, your one-stop solution for WordPress hosting that's fast, secure, and reliable as it gets. First, let's talk about blazing performance. With free redress and Object Cache Pro baked in, Rapid.cloud ensures your WordPress site loads faster than ever because no one likes a slow site. It's true, no one does. Got a traffic surge? No problem. Rapid Cloud's dynamic auto-scaling adjusts seamlessly to handle those spikes, keeping your site up and running no matter what. And security you ask about? Well, they've got you covered there too, with rock-solid protection, including vulnerability detection and virtual patching, so you can focus on creating without worrying about hackers. And when you need help, their 24/7 expert support is always just a click away. So if you're ready to level up your WordPress hosting game, visit rapid.cloud today. That's rapyd.cloud and check them out. Thanks again to rapid.cloud for supporting the podcast and for making WordPress hosting simple, fast, and secure. All right, moving on. Segment 2, the meat potatoes of this week's episode. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects us all as consumers as well as business owners, and that is subscription pricing. That's right, the good old question of which is better. And of course, the short answer is it depends, right? Well, and this topic came up recently. I was discussing a side hustle with a friend, and I was curious on the percentages of those who might pay MTM month to month versus yearly. What's the right balance? And with that said, I have 3 breakouts here. I want to break it down for you, share some insights, and give some practical strategies on how to make the most of a recurring revenue model, if you will. So, all right, here we go. Number 1, just breaking down the things, the subscription model breakdown and why it matters. So according to my research, when you offer a subscription, most people will pick monthly. In fact, across most industries, somewhere between 60 to 80% of subscribers will go for that monthly plan. And I was curious on why, and my digging found it's because it's easier to say yes to, let's say, $5 a month than to drop $50 at once. It just feels less of a commitment. And I asked people this as well, and they are all, yeah, it's kind of true. And if they're unsure of the service, it's a way to test it out that doesn't cost as much. And I'm guilty of this, by the way. When I was doing Pipedrive, when I was using it as a CRM, for years I paid monthly, but I could have saved money. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, on the flip side, those yearly subscribers are where you get long-term stability. They tend to be more invested, they churn less, and they give you a much more predictable revenue stream, right? But you get people who pick the yearly. It's not as simple as just offering a discount. So how do you frame it? And it matters. And why do we frame it a certain way? Well, that's going to lead me to number 2 here, which is how subscription pricing impacts your business, whether it be WordPress specific or tangential or whatever it may be. So if you run a WordPress agency, maybe you offer care plans. We do, a premium plugin. Maybe you have membership communities, all those things, right? The way you price those subscriptions directly impacts your revenue, obviously. So if most of your customers are on monthly plans, that's great. You have steady income. But it also means you might have higher churn because people can cancel when budgets get tight. And it happens a lot. We sometimes cancel stuff here, even in the household for Netflix or Amazon Prime. Okay, who am I kidding? We're not canceling those, but you get the gist of it, right? So people cancel, like I said, when budgets get tight. They can only stick around for a few months, and that can be a problem. On the other hand, yearly subscriptions bring in more upfront cash, which is great for cash flow. But if your pricing doesn't make sense and you don't highlight the savings, people might hesitate to commit for the full year. Okay. And that's what I did. Again, back on the pipe drive thing, for some reason, I was really hesitant early on until I wasn't. I'm like, I'm just wasting money. I'm all in anyways. I use it every day. So I finally did. So with that said, how do you encourage more yearly signups? Because you want less churn. Well, that brings us to the good stuff here. Some easy tweaks that can make a big difference, which is number 3. So how do you increase yearly subscriptions and maximize the revenue? So here's where we really make some money. If you want more people to choose yearly, you need to make it feel like a better deal, obviously, right? Few simple tricks, pretty basic. Highlight the savings. Don't just say $50 a year. Spell it out. Save $10 when you pay annually, right? I mean, and these are just basic low numbers, but if you have something for $1,000, normally, maybe you knock off 20%, so it's $800. That's a big savings, right? Maybe offer a little extra. When you sell a yearly subscription, give a small bonus, a free strategy call, an exclusive report, maybe early access to new features of your service or community, whatever it may be, a Zoom call, something like that, right? And then also you can nudge them at the checkout. Instead of listing the price at $5 a month, $50 a year, flip it. Pay $50 today and save 16%. Right? Just the small wording can really change the impact that it's going to have. So, of course, then the next step would be A/B testing. You need to figure out what's going to work for you in your space, whether it's a service, community, a plugin, web care, etc. So, if you're charging for website maintenance, memberships, definitely take the time to think about this strategically. Take your time, figure out the pricing, and I'm pretty confident it will build you a more stable business and consistent revenue of income. Okay, so reviewing this one more time. Number 1, it matters because 60 to 80% of people go for the monthly plan, but you get more churn. If you get people on the long-term stability of 1 year, it's better for you in the long run. How you offer this makes a difference as well. The pricing of it as well. Okay. And number 3, of course, you want to go ahead and make sure you highlight the savings, offer a little extra, nudge them at checkout. Okay. So pretty basic, pretty easy stuff to kind of get your head wrapped around. But I was surprised. 80% of most buyers go for the monthly versus the yearly. Kind of crazy. All right, moving on. Segment 3, tip until the week. This one's fun. My friend, what's his name? Brian sent this in. IMissMyCafe.com. If you work from home, but you miss having the noise and the surrounding congestion of people and baristas, it's a website called IMissMyCafe.com, and you can have those sound effects piped right through your computer speakers. Pretty fun. It's a free little website. Check it out. I like it. I've used it actually just a couple days ago. So check that out. IMissMyCafe.com. I have no connection to them whatsoever. Just having some fun with it. All right. That is it for this week. A nice, short, sweet show. I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee. Links on the website. Sponsor the show. There's a form. Fill that out. Get right back to you. Thanks again to Rapid.cloud for sponsoring this week's episode. Check them out. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right? Bye-bye.